I mean, let me tell you something. We're not having any Obama administration or Republican administration, anybody in the future, in my office to review what I cover and what I do. You can go straight to hell where you came from. You understand that, scum? I will not bow to that. I'm not turning my guns in, and I'm not turning my free speech in, and you are going to be defeated, and you know it. But they're going to try. They may launch cyber attacks on the web to try to take it over and claim they're saving it, and then basically shut it down. But there it is. FCC quietly kills controversial newsroom study. Print that for me. That was in February, and that's a feint. That's a feint. Like where you move to the left, but then you move and strike to the right. Or in football, where they do the fake handoff, but running up the middle. Because a month later, they brought it back under a new name, as the Boston Herald reported last week, calling it shilling, calling it potentially First Amendment destroying. So they're back with a new name of it. And we're going to be covering that today with Bruce Fein, who, again, almost no one even knows who he is. He's a top constitutional lawyer, former deputy head of the FCC, to get his expert take on it. I mean, the problem is there's so many attacks going on right now. They're ending net neutrality as we know it. That's now officially moving forward. Cyber Command coming in with backdoors to everything. They're launching worms against the internet to force you onto the new internet that has internet ID. 3 strikes by an unelected group and you're banned from the internet. Just sending in bureaucrats to basically arrest Alex Jones, Matt Drudge, Joseph Farah. And by the way, it's in the news today that 10% of the Tea Party donors were audited by the IRS. If you gave to a Tea Party candidate, if you gave to a Tea Party group, a pro-gun group, whatever, they criminally have that data, and then they come after you and audit you. Well, so what? They're going to put you in a FEMA camp next. This is meant to be a chilling effect so that you won't give money to the Tea Party that the Republican and Democratic leadership have lined up together to destroy. Because it's not perfect, but it's the only opposition. House Republicans find 10% of Tea Party donors audited by IRS. I mean, this makes Nixon look like an angel cake. He had 100 and something names and was breaking into a few offices. I'm not defending it. He should have resigned. This is tens of thousands of people being audited and harassed and their 501c3 taken and pro-life groups. And it's on record. They told pro-life groups in federal court, you will not be pro-life. That's political. You can keep your 501c3, just don't go out and protest at abortion clinics. What? That's an advocacy. But Media Matters, publicly run by George Soros in the White House, funded by Soros, run by the White House, can literally say, our job is to infiltrate, destroy new media. Our job is to shut down free speech. Our job is to get Democrats elected. We don't apologize. And they say that on CNN last week. We played the clip. I mean, this is a naked rush to the finish line by the globalist in our face. And now they have held Lois Lerner in contempt. The House Representatives held former Internal Revenue Service official, not servant, Lois Lerner in contempt of Congress. We're going to get into that and more. But the issue is it's now reached survival mode. We punish these people. We back them off. We scare criminals in government. We give support to good whistleblowers and good people in government, or it's over. The whole thing's going to collapse into total evil. So we've got that coming up with Bruce Fein. Now, that said, ladies and gentlemen, this is escalating very quickly. You know, I said that Putin yesterday announced, and I read from the New York Times, it was also on Novostat. I don't just believe the New York Times because they'll lie. Putin said, we're pulling our troops off the border, and we are not going to, we don't want referendums for different cities to try to join Russia, even though they've been part of Russia previously. We want to put that on hold. So that was a major attempt at reset. Someone could say it's a feint and that it's about Putin acting like he's involved in détente as a propaganda victory. That's what the CIA, run by foreign banks, and CNN is saying, and MSNBC. The truth is, it's probably a little bit of both. It's an attempt to reset, but the troops have always been on the border. That's where their main military bases are to invade Europe to begin with. It's been like that since the Cold War. But now Britain deploys destroyer to shadow Russian aircraft carrier. Putin oversees Russian nuclear forces exercises. And tomorrow is the big World War II Victory Day. Putin may launch something after that.
Clean water at home. Clean water.
Yeah, sometimes they give Satan a Nobel Peace Prize. Henry Kissinger. What a joke. Didn't they give Al Gore one, too, for all of his baloney? Yeah, Harvard will host the reenactment of the Satanic Mass. That's a little interesting news tidbit that's coming up. By the way, I want to spend some time on this. DrudgeReport.com, linked to it last night. And then it was up till this morning and you know, scrolled off the page, but I've had it reposted up on the front page of Infowars.com. And the headline is NSA to control the stock market. And what I did is when I got up this morning, Kit Daniels wrote a little story about my interview with Porter Stansbury where I quantified what he was talking about and basically said it's the NSA takeover of the stock market. And I saw a few of the commenters in the article going, come on, this isn't true. So I neurotically had Paul Watson at about 6 a.m. this morning when I got up add about 10 links or so from mainstream news admitting that the NSA is already spying on the stock market in real time and giving the data to select interest. So I had the guys print 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mainstream news articles saying what I'm saying. See, because when I just get up here and say the NSA is spying on the stock market to manipulate it and then move on, I'm pulling from a big well of knowledge studying this for years. And I'm not tooting my horn. I was the first person on U.S. talk radio to have NSA whistleblowers on in 96, 97, 98, 99, 2000. Nobody was having Wayne Madsen on. Nobody was having James Bamford on, former head of Nightline. Nobody was having these people on. I'm not bragging. I thought it was incredibly interesting that they were testifying to the British Parliament and to the EU Parliament, and that they were testifying that there were giant hubs being built in all the telecoms to track everything in real time. I thought that was a big deal. And then 7 years ago, the AT&T executive went public. Well, I'm going to talk about this after I get into the World War III situation with Russia that just continues to go through new nightmare permutations. And so I shouldn't get into it now. I'll get into it then. But the point is, that'll be about 15 minutes or so. I'll cover this. This ties in to censoring the internet, controlling it, taxing it. The power to tax selectively is the power to destroy. They have to surveil everything to know what's going on to target it with algorithms. You say, well, government's too inept to ever track everybody. They've been too inept until now. When everything is through the digital grid, they're going to enforce with computers. And that's been announced. That's in the news. They say in the press release, this new algorithm surveilling everything you do with your bank account, everything you do with cash off the digital numbers that are on all the new money, it's really just a receipt of digital, will give them an accurate model of everything going on. And then they'll launder the drug money. That'll all be ignored. But then if you don't pay taxes on swap meet money you made that you're using to survive in the underground economy, you're going to go to jail. The illegals are going to be above the law and be given bank accounts and everything else. See, I'm already getting into it. This is the ultimate mark of the beast system. If the devil isn't real, it doesn't matter. They've taken that system and are building it. I mean, let's say in 100 years they have the technology to build a giant biological android of Godzilla, and they have it attack Tokyo. Godzilla's real. Godzilla's a fiction character, folks, but lots of stuff that's been fiction, people pick up on and build. Humans are master builders. And I'm not saying they're going to build a real Godzilla like Cloverleaf or Cloverfield, whatever that horror movie is pretty good. Cloverfield. The point is that that's the concept I'm talking about here. In 1855, they envisioned the total eugenics takeover of the planet in London, and they pretty much done it. And it was all on the drawing board then. In 1900, H.G. Wells wrote a book about atomic weapons with allusions. He alluded to the Max Planck equation, supposedly before it was even published. See? They're more advanced than they're telling us. We'll be right back.
We're on the march. The empire's on the run. Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.